Good afternoon, I'm Joe Vodvarka with this weather update. Yesterday I warned you about the potential for a snowstorm in the middle of this week. Today I'm going to warn you that potential is increasing. Let's start off with the national hazards map with the watches, warnings, winter storm warnings, what have you not. And look at Texas here. We have winter weather advisories up in Texas, Oklahoma, parts of Kansas, all the way over through Alabama. In Georgia, we have winter storm watches and even winter storm warnings just north of Atlanta. Let's zoom in on this one. We have winter storm warnings just north of Atlanta, and we have watches that go all the way up into the Carolinas and starting to go into Virginia now. But down here, what they're looking at is potential for significant ice and snow amounts. And we can actually click on these. Let's do one of the point-and-click forecasts. I mean, look down here. This is what they're getting. It's going to only be 36 degrees on Tuesday in parts of Georgia, 32 on Wednesday. If it's going to be cold down here and snowy down here, then you know it's going to be cold, snowy, and wintry up here. Because they don't get it like we see it up here. And they're going to be getting it pretty good. Let's zoom into our area real quickly. Let's take a look at our hazardous weather outlook, which National Weather Service already has out, which is pretty unusual for this part out. The hazardous weather outlook is for southern and northern Delaware, northeast Maryland, central New Jersey, southern New Jersey, and southeast Pennsylvania. Hazardous weather is not expected today, but look at this, days 2 through 7. A strong coastal storm is forecast to affect our region Wednesday night and Thursday. Heavy snowfall is possible by Thursday morning along the Interstate 95 corridor, Philadelphia, which precipitation may change to sleet or rain for a time during the day Thursday. More details will be available later on from the National Weather Service, which is understandable. Well, I'm going to show you the reasoning behind this call. First of all, here's the national satellite loop. As you can see, we do have some clouds trying to move into the area this afternoon. And generally, what you see up here, that's not cloud cover, that's just the cold air that it's showing. There's another disturbance out here. There's another one that's going to be coming on shore in the northwest overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. That data will be sampled in tomorrow morning's weather balloons that get sent up into the air, and that data will be sent into computer models. So tomorrow morning's when we're really going to be able to pin down what this storm is going to do. But there's another area of energy out in here that's out in the southwest that's going to be coming from the southern stream. These two pieces of energy are going to meet up somewhere right around in here. Somewhere it's going to meet up, and where these two phase is crucial to how far west this comes or to how far east this comes. It's really coming down to now, it's 25 to 50 mile shifts will be the difference between a foot of snow and perhaps 20 to maybe even 2 feet of snow. Let's take a look at the North American mesoscale model, and we'll take a look here. First of all, we'll start off with now. And here's what's now. You got light precipitation down south. It gets heavier. They're getting ice. They get ice and snow. Then it warms up a little bit, and then here comes another wave. That is some real heavy wintry precipitation for Atlanta. And look at that. Now we got our storm starting to develop just off the South Carolina, Georgia coast. This starts to slowly come up. By this time, it is Thursday, very early Thursday morning, about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. The storm is starting to phase. Everywhere is below freezing at the surface, even the shore. Then it starts to warm up just a little bit. But look at this. We have heavy snow moving in during the Thursday morning rush hour. If there is going to be a rush hour, I'm thinking there probably won't be a rush hour. And look at this. Now we're getting very heavy snow moving into the area. And despite that showing cold air not being at the surface, it is cold aloft. It tends to do this for whatever reason. It won't pick up on the surface cold. It will do this as we get closer into the storm. The model will pick up on it. That, folks, is some very heavy snow. That is 2 to 3 inches per hour. We have a bombing low pressure system. I mean, here we go again. Here's Thursday evening. It's still snowing. So now we're almost at 24 hours of snow. This model is all snow. This is the end of the model. At this point, we have a cold conveyor belt band that has set up from Virginia all the way through to New York City, continuing through to Boston. This is, again, 2 to 3 inches per hour snowfall rates, perhaps even at times blizzard conditions with this model. I have not really looked more into the wind gust, but I can tell you got a low pressure system up here over the lakes. You have a high pressure system over here, which is helping to prevent this from going out to sea, and this low is helping to prevent it from cutting inland. This is like what we call a kicker, which tries to push it east, but no, it can't go east. We have a high pressure system over here, well northeast of New England, off of Nova Scotia and whatnot. All these areas of wind are combining together, creating strong wind gusts wrapping around the storm system. Let's go on to another model which has come in big time this afternoon, the Canadian model. We'll start off with this view. This up until 48, it's the RGM model, regional Canadian model. As I'm going to stop it right here. Look at this down south. That is some significant icing. Remember the ice we had last week? That's what they could see down south. And on the north side of that, there's snow. If I advance it more, now you'll start to see our storm is starting to form. Look at all this moisture. And that dark blue right there, that is very heavy 2 to 3 inch per hour snows. Watch where that heads for. It heads right for the I-95 corridor, and it sits right over Philadelphia. And look how far the actual snow area goes. It goes all the way back to Georgia. And now the snow is falling very heavily. By this point, which is Thursday morning going to Thursday afternoon, we'll probably already have a foot of snow. To advance it, still snowing. It tries to mix with rain a little bit, but look, I mind you to look real closely. That is not very heavy precipitation in the way of rain. It's what we call a dry slot. And here's the low pressure area just off the Delaware coast. It does get a little bit stronger, 991 millibars. And here comes the back side, the cold conveyor belt. That moves east. And even that, perhaps this is too warm right here. If it is, that's an additional 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. And look at this. Heavy snow even Thursday evening. 984 millibars right off the coast of Boston. And it continues east. It continues to bomb. It goes into the 970s and then it pulls out. It exits Thursday night into Friday. And if we look real closely, there's another potential system which could be a Miller B this weekend. We'll worry about that later. We're not worried about that right now. As you can see here, generally from just north of Louisiana all the way up to Maine gets clobbered with snow. The jackpot being the Philadelphia metropolitan area, like it has been the entire winter. Let's zoom in with this and take a look at that. That's anywhere from 25 to 40 millimeters of snow. So what that is that's 20 inches of snow. Isolated areas could see 2 feet from this model. Let's go to the European model. Here's the European model, which just came in about an hour ago, and it did come in stronger than the Z run. Here's hour 24. Let's go to hour 30. As you can see, here's our system starting to develop here in Texas. Now you'll see at hour 36, it's gathering Gulf of Mexico moisture. 42 hours in advance. Wednesday morning, the storm is starting to organize. The low pressure area is going to be developing in the next frame or two. And there we go. We have a low pressure system developing here right off the Louisiana and Alabama coast. We have a squall line here, which is very common in the Gulf of Mexico. That would move east and eventually head for Florida. Now we'll go to hour 54. Storm is starting to come up the coast. Hour 60. Storm is continuing to come up the coast. Hour 66. Snow will start to move into the area. And we will zoom this into the mid-Atlantic view so you can get a good idea. Look at this in Virginia. That's very heavy snow in Virginia. We'll quickly go to hour 72. Very heavy snow moving into Philadelphia. Hour 78. We change over to rain in the city. But if this was 25 miles more east, we would be all snow. And we would see a heck of a lot of snow if this was all east. Remember, this blue line right here represents the 850C line. So that's the freezing level at about 20,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And there's the surface cold air. So north and west gets clobbered this run. They get 1 to 2 feet of snow. And let's go to hour 84. We do switch back to snow. And hour 90 on the European model, the storm starts to move out. Here's a snowfall map for the European model, just west of Washington, D.C. Yeah, see that light blue color right there? That's 24 to 26 inches of snow. Look at Lancaster area. Yeah, Lancaster gets 16 to 20 inches of snow. Philadelphia gets exactly a foot of snow. This could shift 20 miles east at 0Z, and it is possible. It is possible. It's not definite. This model comes in even stronger once we get a full sampling of the data tomorrow. Let's quickly go over to the Penn State E-Wall, and today we're going to take a look at the SREF, Short Range Ensemble Forecast model, which has 21 different models. It's ran 21 different times. And we'll go out to the storm. As you can see here, most of them have a absolute bomb coming up the coast here. Some of them miss it. Some of it take it ridiculously far west. Here's the mean, which is made up of all the members combined together. All these members combined together would equal this right here on the far right. One member can screw up the whole mean and send it to the east or west or make it too warm. And take a look here. The 540 line, the 850 line would be right about here going over Delaware, going over South Jersey. This is a pretty strong hit. Generally, it would be about a foot of snow for the area. And a foot of snow on a mean, that's a lot of snow for this far out. Let's go back to the E-Wall. Let's take a look at the 500 millibar of the European real quickly. As you can see here, 72 hours, we have a phase occurring right here, very strong phase. Eventually it does close off just to the north. If this closed off a little bit further to the south, we would see a much stronger area of low pressure. So here's my take. Right now, it's a matter of 25 miles, whether it goes east or west. I think we are guaranteed at least 12 inches of snow from this storm from Washington, D.C. up to Boston. If we get this 25-mile shift in the computer models overnight tonight, I am safely saying Philadelphia could see 20 inches of snow from this storm. And at times, winds will gust to 35 to 40 miles per hour, which would produce blizzard conditions, low visibility. At the shore, you have to be concerned not so much about heavy snowfall amounts. You could see 6 to 12 inches of snow from this storm, but you could also see a lot of coastal flooding. Because if this storm at the H5 closes off a little bit sooner, we would see the storm stall off the Jersey coast for about a 12-hour period, which would warrant significant to major coastal flooding. And if you get below freezing, when you get coastal flooding below freezing, you got to worry about all this water that's splashing onto the streets freezing. You'd have to worry about this freezing. Additionally, I want to warn you about the potential for power outages. This is not going to be a dry snow. It could start off as a dry snow. It could end as a dry snow, but in between it's going to be a wet snow. And that could definitely cause more power outages north and west, and even in the city this time, and Jersey, we could see significant to major power outages. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of people could lose power from this storm if it's a perfect case scenario. Tomorrow we should have a final call on this storm, or at least a very close to being a final call on what's going to happen. So right now, go out, get your supplies, prepare for at least 12 inches of snow across the area, and prepare for the city to probably be shut down on Thursday. I'm Joe Vodvarka. We'll have another update tomorrow. Enjoy.